presentation. Shannon Cernick is responsible for this. She did an amazing job, and she couldn't be here with us tonight. But anyway, she did an excellent job, and thanks to Maria that she's taken over from that, because we're not very happy. Okay, so here you go. I'll start the presentation. And here was the school back in 1936. I love that one mainly because the kids were playing on the playground and it showed the activity happening at the school. Okay, here it is, the history of our school, starting in, I believe, 1890. The first school in Ronald started in a Baptist church behind number 3 mine in 1888 with teacher Sue Porter. In May of 1890, the school opened in an old saloon that was located right out here by the parking lot and next to the current school building. It had 49 students and the teacher was Annie Hafer. Her salary was $60 a month. So in 1916, the original school building, the saloon, was completely destroyed by fire. Students were divided into 3 groups. One group went to Jonesville, one to the nearby Union Hall and the post office. So school was not interrupted, the students kept on learning. And after a hard winter, the record snowfall of 21 feet, a new school was built and opened the following summer. And there's a group right over there. The steps used to go right out the very front.
For those that aren't familiar, you might want to point out where Jonesville used to be.
Yeah. Up the road. Up the road. 10 miles. 10 miles up the road. It was that far. Oh, it was up where the mill used to be, up in that direction. Yeah.
The turn off to Speedy ID.
There you go. Well, even before that, isn't it? Yeah, before that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, moving Cole to the new school. It was amazing to me to find out that, well, in 1924, there were 330 students in this building. Quite full. 9 staff members and with 23 different nationalities. The principal was Matt Hawthorne and his wife Margaret taught night classes for parents so they could achieve citizenship. They also took groups of students on excursions to Seattle so they could experience the big city, which culture shock, but the experience was wonderful. So in 1926, Matt Hawthorne, who was the principal and superintendent of the Ronald School District at that time, he decided that there needed to be a gym built for the kids were quite active in sports. And so in 26, Superintendent Matt Hawthorne proposed a bond issue for a new gym. And there's the construction of it. The Bannister brothers, local family, built the gym. Yeah. And there's another view of that. The bond passed with a vote of 61 to 1. Yeah, who was that one? The gym was constructed by the Bannister brothers, and in 1927-28, it was complete. The Northwest Improvement Company donated the land, So, as we know it, it's Hawthorne Hall across the street. This is one of my favorites. As you saw in the tour, that was the 7th and 8th grade classroom.
Right there.
There it is, right there. And Braden, you probably, are you in there, Braden?
Yes, I saw. Yeah,
Right there.
There.
Yeah, that's, next one up is, we moved away, that's War Shop. That was David Gaskell.
Here.
Oh, that was Warren Shop, they moved away, that's David Gaskell, who lived right across the street in Log Cabin. Built a new house, fell down the stairs, broke his neck and got in. And Carol, you gotta be in here somewhere.
No, there's Roletto.
That's, Greater Meadow. Where's that at? Yeah, there's Lynn.
Where's Terry Walker?
Jerry Walker's gotta be in there too. That's Terry right there.
Oh, yeah.
That was Jerry Walker.
That was Dave Chase. What year is that?
That's gotta be, let's see. We're looking at, that's gotta be the, that was 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, right there. That was that classroom made up of. What year? Huh? 6, 7, 8? You sure? Because I'm looking at trees up there.
That's 3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah, I think so. That's, that's 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Correct. Okay.
Because they're about the same age.
Anybody
Oh,
else?
you were, yeah, so you, Carol, you would be in there, what, you were the one above.
I was up now.
Yeah, you were there.
Okay, now Shannon made such cool, titles to the pictures, and she said it's not just a place, it's the people. So, and here's some special memories of a graduating class. I'm not quite sure what year that was.
That was Kate Presto and Cheryl Little and Ruby White.
Okay, good, Carol.
Yeah, look at that kid in the back. Yeah, that's a class
Yeah.
Cut him out.
Good. Okay, Carol had some names to go with those.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I recognize Ruby Heidi, she's no longer here, but I think that Sharon Roletta was, and then Kate Presto was next to the tall girl.
Here?
I think, no, that's Emily Randall. It's the tall one, is that Marcy? Was she-
Well, would that be Marcy Gotches?
I'm trying to think who was that tall. I don't know. But anyway.
Well, glad you're here, Carol. Okay. I understand, as you see, the signage is still in the gym, Ronald Public School up there, but they used to have a number of plays that were conducted here, and do you remember who that was, Carol? Who the teacher was for that?
I would say, well, that was before I was here. That's my brother Dwayne, I think, is in there somewhere in Yale Hughes. So, and they graduated in 58 from high school, so that would be like,
Or, I think my sister's in there somewhere too, because she was 57, and Arlene's in there somewhere.
they kind of look familiar, but they've aged.
Well, anyway, they had some pretty cool costumes.
Yeah.
Okay, the feeling of belonging, lots of sports. I think that's Bobby Starkovich, right?
Bobby's in the front, and the other guys, I don't know.
They circle.
Yeah, from Circle.
Who's a troublemaker? Yeah.
That's a. It has a thing.
I'm not sure either. Braven?
Got the who was in with that start bitch, I tried to keep his,
Where's Greg?
Bobby.
You don't know either?
Oh, that, maybe in the back looks like an Arbuckle kid, isn't that Urban Arbuckle?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
Right here?
Yeah, and then that little kid in top looks so familiar, like you should still know him, like.
We've had more fun trying to identify.
Jerry Norris, maybe?
Well, maybe.
Oh, if anybody does recognize any of these that we're questioning, please holler.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another group that I think we know quite a few of these folks.
Oh, yeah. David Nussbaum.
No, not these. That's
Dennis
Dennis
Walton.
Walton, he just died in like, what? 2 weeks ago.
Dennis Walton dies?
Yeah. I think that was Dennis Walton, he just died like 2 weeks ago. Right here. Walton, there's gotta be,
You got
that's, Robert Bland,
David Claridge.
that's David Claridge, that's Tony Bergamini.
And Neil Michael in the back.
Which one? This one?
On the other side.
That there? That's
Dwayne.
Dwayne.
Mr. Demoli, Gary Favero, Gary Malavich, Bill, that, like, Snow Street is next to him.
Right,
Yeah.
Stone Street,
Yeah.
that was the two girls.
And the cheerleaders are Sharon Holgren and Sharon Roletto, excuse me.
Sharon Roletto and
Kate Preston.
Kate Preston. That's true.
Here is a basketball team. The one in the middle is my mom.
Do you know any of the other people there?
I do. Lorene Rometto up there, Gloria Woolley, Catherine DeGrosser. They were quite the Ronald crew. And let's see, Gloria DeVito. I'm not too sure about the other two gals on the other side there. But yeah, they were quite a tight group of friends.
Well, they stayed friends all their life.
They did. They were friends forever, and I think there's only one that is still with us. Helen Rudy. Helen, Helen Rudy, yeah. And here's baseball, basketball. The sports seem to be, there's lots of pictures that we've been able to find of sports, so they were pretty active in the sporting department. Baseball. Raymond, where did you say the field used to be?
Field used to be just south of us, and that was in Bancrest. We used to have these horses out there, and a mule or a donkey. So we were first base, second base, third base, and all that. We just moved on. Follow people. That's how it worked.
This is campfire. Mira Long was the leader right there, and
Rosetta Markovich, and Tiny Koslerski.
oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we all know the girls.
Yeah.
Julianne is in the.
Oh, Julianne, right there.
And then Randall is next to her, and Randall is in, Judy Daniels. And Carol Koslerski, is that?
Right here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that picture was taken when you came into the building upstairs through the front doors there. Here's another group of.
Dave Chase in the back. You can always spot Dave. And Lee Heidi. And then in the front row, that's Lois Martin, Sandy Blackwell. And then, oh, Warren Chops is in the back. Yeah. Johnny Chris.
Oh, there's the.
Well, that's you. Is that you?
No one can hear you.
What was that, an Indian lake?
No one can hear. My dad always used to call us the Balkan Indians, so I guess that's what we're calling.
Totally, it's one of Dave.
Who is that?
David Chase.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when he was growing up, actually he was in Shakes. He changed his name when he came back. It used to be Yancho.
Okay. Well, we miss Dave dearly too. He was a big help for us with our building, and he was our night watchman. Anything happened out of the ordinary, he let us know and was on it, so. Anyway, here's, I see Joey Starsovich here.
That's Joey Starsovich, Archie Riley, Mike Bland, Gary Kozlowski. Is that Dennis Walgren and Dave Blair? I'm in the middle, and Tony is over there.
Oh yeah, there's Tony.
And then I think that's my brother Dale, and then,
There?
who is it? No, Dale's in the middle.
Carol, you should be a.
Yeah.
You should have a mic.
Oh, yeah.
No,
you have to be able to hear you. They can't hear you in the back.
I'll repeat.
Yeah, there you go.
That thing was, that's Cub Scouts, I think.
Oh, here we are with campfire. Irene Hill was our leader, and there's Irene. There's Marilyn and Val and myself with my cat eye glasses. Oh yeah, that was the trend then. It's coming back, they say. Yeah, no, and here, this might be something that wouldn't pass in
So how is he dressed up?
Well,
Probably graduation.
that's a graduate.
I'll bet you that was graduation.
You think so?
Where the rest of the graduation.
That's pretty fancy.
But that looks like.
But they're all the same.
So Rick, maybe.
Oh, maybe. You think?
I'd say graduation.
No, that's the same.
I know.
The same mother probably sold all the dresses. I made it work back then.
Okay, Maria. All right.
Now that lady is Mrs. Ashbaugh, and the back row, I'm in the middle back there was, you know, I don't know if anybody, well, I know all the people, but that lady there was a saint, let me tell you. I wish she were back. She was wonderful.
Carol had some good stories about
And
Mrs.
her husband used to be the principal.
Oh, Mr. Ashby.
Mr. Ashwell used to be the principal.
Yeah.
And then when I was here, we had Mrs. DeMolling and Mr. DeMolling, so they
Yeah, that was who we, down front here, want to point out Jono. I'm sorry that Jono and Judy aren't here because there's Jono.
And then the Scott twins were in the middle.
He's,
that's Scott twins.
And then Johnny Crest,
That was like Johnny
and
Crestful,
then Ronnie Favero on the other end,
right down there.
and Mike Bland, Stephen Milovich.
Stefan, that's
well, you
Conrad
were looking
Stefan.
for stuff.
And I'm not sure that kid looks like maybe a Middleton kid, Gary Kozlowski, Archie Riley, Jodell Arbuckle.
Yeah.
The back there was Nora Bell, Shelby McConville, other way.
There.
Nora Bell, Shelby McConville, Carol Kennison, Janice Jarvie, Leah Randall, and Lori Hughes. And Joyce Bates, way on the end.
Way down there.
So that was kind of a rundown of the school and activities, that kind of thing. In 1966, consolidation happened, and that was when, as you probably all know, when all the schools got together, and a lot of the buildings were destroyed, just not used any longer, but a group of ladies from Ronald decided they wanted to keep our buildings, and that's how the Ronald Community Club was formed. And there's the majority of them. But there's Maxine is not with them, and Angeline Osmanovich, Olga Newton, they were all very instrumental in keeping these buildings. So that was in 1966. Here they are, the majority of them too, making cabbage rolls. Back in the day, so we're still trying to keep that going, and every year we do have our 4th of July Heritage Festival, and that's coming up, but that's what they're prepping for. So that's all the ladies. Here's my mom and her friend Fred, Betty Volovich, Julie Walgren, Doris Maris, Maxine Volovich, and Dorothy Roletto. So those are the ladies responsible for this all happening. In 1967, they established the RCC as a 501c3 nonprofit, and they leased the beloved buildings from the school district. Since then, the RCC has worked to preserve and maintain the school and gym while providing a place for community gatherings. Weddings, funerals, and celebrations of all kinds continue to fill these halls with cherished memories. Here are a few of our projects. Upon consolidation, every 5 years we've attempted to have a Old Ronald reunion, and this was in 1960, oh, this one was 2011, but the first one was in 1968. And it's been pretty awesome to have so many come back to gather and reminisce, but there's fewer and fewer every year, so. Anyway. Okay, Albert Yanchapal, who was Superior Court Judge in Benton and Franklin counties for, I believe, 20 years. He lived on 28 3rd Street, and that was his home, and he had such fond recollections of Ronald and the people and the school. And so this is an excerpt from one of his speeches that Shannon thought would be of interest for everybody to hear. So Val's going to read this to us.
Okay, testing. There is something unique, something mystic, something we don't seem to be able to put our finger on with respect to having lived in Ronald, with having been educated in this school. God has blessed me that I have had this opportunity to be educated here, to have lived in this community, to have had you for my neighbors. So much so that in all sincerity, I say that if I had to live my life over again, it would be the same and in this community and in this school. I would choose to live in Ronald. I would choose to be educated by you teachers. I would choose you for my neighbors. This community, this school, your parents and mine, and you, my friends, have given me something which I treasure above all else, and we have given it to each other. We acquired it here. Of this, I am certain.
Shannon has had a way of tugging at everybody's heartstrings and making us cry, but anyway. The dedication of Hawthorne Hall was May 2nd, 1971, and he himself had made such a positive impact on Ronald's early students. The high school choir performed, a plaque was presented by Robert Bell Sr., and Mr. Hawthorne addressed the crowd at his dedication. And so it became Hawthorne Hall.
Wow.
And these are some of the projects that once we did form the community club, we had some big ones. Here they are putting a new roof on the building here. And in 2003, with the help of donations from local businesses and individuals, the roof of the 87-year-old school building was replaced. And here it's getting a paint job. And a lot of people wonder why it got switched from the red schoolhouse to what we have now. But in researching it and in prior knowledge, it was the color that we have chosen now is back to the original. I think the red paint got donated to the community club. This group decided they thought that it should be red. But anyway, we went back to the original. So. And then in 2012, with the help of local designer and metal worker Dick Mills, we placed the Ronald's first ever welcome sign at the entrance to town. And Marcy Bagachis was pretty instrumental in helping us get that all set up with Dick. And she was pleased. She says, now people will know where Ronald is when they pass through. So, and then in 2014, Hawthorne Hall got a new paint job. So in those few years, we were quite busy. Strong community support helps us achieve these improvements. To help fundraise for this project, Marcy wrote a book called Ronald Remembered, and all the proceeds that were donated from her book. And this is the book that Marcy had written. And if there is any interest in it, it's really full of fun facts. And so anyway, stories. Yeah, it's an excellent book. So there's only a few available, but her daughter is looking at having more published, because Marcy did pass. It's been a few years now since Marcy's. Was it? Yeah. But her daughter Renee and Ed are looking at having it published. So if anyone is interested, there is a sign-up sheet, and she said just put your name and phone number, and we could tally as to how many might be interested.
There was one available at Basecamp Books last time I was there, like 3 months ago. There was one on the shelf, and I was surprised. I thought they made it again, but yeah.
No. So there's this one, and I think there's 2 back there, that's it.
Yeah, the great one.
But yes, it's fun. Got all the old timers that lived here. Everybody had a nickname, so Marcy's got them all in the book, and it's quite fun. Okay, there we are putting up Hawthorne Hall sign. And Dick Mills, he was also the one that did the welcome to Ronald. He created this Hawthorne Hall sign using the corrugated metal from the old number 3 mine. And that was actually donated by Ed and Marcy Bagachis, which is, oh, there they were. That's okay. Okay, then our centennial. We actually celebrated 100 years back in 2016, so it's going to be 109 this year. Wow. So there are again some of our original founders that are with us. There's Valerie and me, Lori Birch, Jim Birch, my mom, Doris, Shannon and Carol, Tony Bergman, Dave and Greg. So we're still trying to keep her going.
Thank you.
Over in the corner there, Louis Osmanovich and Frank Cernick were our former Ronald principals. They were a guest. This is referring to our centennial gathering. Louis
Stand up.
is going to have something to say in just a little bit.
Go looking for a joke. This is next round, dude.
Okay, this was actually the last graduating class from here. Candace Brisky and in the middle there. And Debbie Polich is there. Kathy Maris. So Candace was my sister and Kathy is Greg's sister. And Louis was the principal. Yeah, well, you were at the reunion.
$60 a month, right?
And then the oldest person that was there was Joe Peruka. He was 92. And this was the day after the reunion. Val and Shannon and I were walking in the parade that, I believe it was in Roslyn, wasn't it?
Looks like
Yeah. I think, yeah. So we were proud of that sign. Okay, then in 1966, we started the Heritage Festival. 96.
Next year's gonna be 30.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how time flies. Okay, so the Heritage Festival has been RCC's annual fundraising event. So there's the majority of us that work on it and have fun doing it. Starting making the cabbage rolls and serving, and it's been a great time. And then I think there's Braven playing his accordion, Carol and Judy welcoming people, collecting money, and John Lunn and myself. I don't know what, looks like we're talking. Serving, yeah. And families return year after year to see old friends, enjoy the festivities, and recapture a little of that local magic. The Tribune has had some great write-ups for us. They make it very personal and nostalgic, and it's we have a fun time doing it too. And this is the reason for it.
As children, we danced here, kids and grown-ups, spinning and twirling on the polished gym floor. As our grown-ups look on, laughing and talking, sipping from beer cups and eating some more. Those who were dancing were stomping and twirling, singing and spilling and laughing out loud as the Buggy Box band played the rousing old polkas. Beer barrel, she's too fat, pleasing the crowd. When time came for a slow one, there was not a dry eye, for they sang an old country language that made grandmas cry. As grown-ups we stand now, sipping and laughing, watching our children continue to try to dance to the polkas and sing the slow ones in old country language that makes grandmas cry. Some grandmas are gone now, but their memories are strong here. The next generation has taken their places. Many still dance, and the children among them bear a striking resemblance to their grandparents' faces. Croatians, Italians, Itches, and Edos were all of one family, those gathered here now. Though some have gone on and others have joined us, the bond is as strong as it was years ago. In decades to come, I know I'll return here to visit and dance and laugh with old friends. Then I'll be the grandma, my children the grown-ups, and the grandchildren dancing will be mine and my friends. There's nothing more heartfelt than small-town connections. How lucky we are to share in this bond. My hope that our children and those who will join them will love and remember and carry it on.
That is written by Shannon Cernick, another heart, I know. So anyway, that was kind of what we think of when Louis and am I not talking? When Louis and Floyd and Olga would play for our heritage festivals. It was awesome. So, anyway, these are just some recollections. Or anybody now have any kind of comments or additions?
I thought Marcy also wrote a book about Jonesville.
About
I heard
Jonesville?
that she also wrote a book about Jonesville.
There is another book with Marcy, that Old Country to Coal Country.
Right, is that the one you're talking about, from old country to coal country?
Jonesville in it, I think.
In my,
We have that for sale.
Yeah,
Yeah, my mom was born in Jonesville, and I know it's part
Oh,
of
yes.
Ronald.
oh, okay, maybe that's in that from old country to coal country?
Oh,
It's for sale at the,
we have it here.
base camp.
Oh, you have it, yeah, we have it here.
Okay.
Debbie, you wanna hold it up? Thank you. Is this the one you may be referring to?
And this is a new revised, somewhat revised edition, the second edition, and there's a little bit of update in it. So this is the second printing actually of this one.
Okay, we're going to give this to Louie. We want this.
I didn't bring my guitar, but I do a hell of a tap dance. Look, I got tennis shoes on, I'm going here anyway, so. Okay, gee, I didn't know I was gonna, have a, would you go? I have a few notes. I'm older, I need glasses now. Yeah. Okay, thank you. It's been 60 years ago since I taught here and was principal here. And the reason I got the job, Frank Cernick got a job in North Bend. And so the school board up here was hard up for another teacher. And so they came down and talked to the school board, talked to me. I think Steve Lovich and your dad and Toot was on there. And so I had a pretty good school board. They hired me right away, and I'm glad they did, because how many teachers get to teach in a building like this these days, or not these days, but even 60 years ago. So I felt very fortunate to be able to come up here and teach. And I had there were three of us. Ethel Saxby taught Ethel Saxby here, and she taught the little ones, first, second, third, and then Mrs. Fodry taught fourth, fifth, and sixth, and then I had seventh and eighth, and I had the smallest group. I forget how many I had, about 7 or something, it wasn't many anyway, but they were good, and you know what, it made me feel old. I was over a couple of weeks ago at the Snoqualmie Casino, sitting at my machine, trying to win money back that I had lost a couple of weeks before. And a good-looking young lady came up to me and said, "Mr. O, do you remember me?" And boy, I couldn't, but as soon as she said her name, I knew it was Polish's.
Oh, Debbie.
Debbie. Anyway, and so we had a nice visit there, and she came over, recognized me, and didn't give me one of those looks. Usually I run into students I run into them in Safeway, and when I run into them, they say, "Mr. O,
with their eyes wide open, like they were saying, "You still alive?" Anyway, I couldn't have a better team than Mrs. Saxby and Mrs. Fodry when I taught up here. And like I said, I had 7th and 8th grade, and I didn't have, it was like 12 or 7, forget now. Anyway, there wasn't many students, and so I also had responsibility of being a principal. I didn't have principal or superintendent credentials, but the school board made me as a principal, so I was principal. And I was like, I didn't have to take care of money things for the school, because at that time we had a county superintendent, and his name was Mr. Giles. And he'd come up and meet with me and tell me that they still had enough money to, when the payday come up, I'd get my pay. And boy, I wasn't the only one glad to hear that. I don't know who owned, I think Montana owned the number 3 Tavern, and he was happy to that. I had 2 boys in the class, and they weren't original people like the rest of the families. And I have their names on a sheet with other names in the class in school. At home, couldn't find them. Anyway, they were like out of towners, but they attended the Ronald School, and I'm sure they remember those days. One important person that I haven't heard about yet, and I didn't see any pictures of him, George Covey Favero. He kept his building and classrooms just sparkling, and he kept the heat coming to the classrooms in the winter. And the kids used to come in with wet clothes and stuff, and I'd throw them on the radiator and dry them out, and Cubby made sure that we had heat and a clean building. And so I really was lucky to have him as our custodian and maintenance person. And he and I would get in the office if it was recess or something, or some break, and we'd get in my little office upstairs and sit down and talk. And how you going, Cub? Good. How many deer did you get? How many whitefish did you? Where'd you go whitefishing? Didn't talk anything about the school or anything. All about whitefishing and deer hunting. Anyway, I was really fortunate to be able to spend that last year here. And I think I mentioned that there are a few people, if the schools had not consolidated, they would have had to drag me out by my boots, because I was still been teaching here. Kids. And do we have time for one little story? Okay, it's nothing to do with the school, but I got it someplace. Oh, now where did it go? I'll find it, okay.
While you're looking,
Oh.
this is a story too, not a story, but a fact that this was the whole school, Louis.
Oh, that was
Right there is the whole
second grade.
school that year.
one Carol, I wish I had your number. In fact, I may need you to help me find my car. You got a good memory. Anyway, Dean was Dean up there? Can you find
Yeah,
him?
he has a photo.
Dean, yeah. And I had to recruit everybody for my basketball team, not just 8th graders. I didn't have enough 8th or 7th graders for my basketball team. I was a coach. I think I was the only coach that, never won a game. Anyway, the cute thing I was gonna talk about, Dean, he was so small, I couldn't find a pair of basketball shorts to fit him in. So he wore regular basketball shorts, but they came down below his knees. And every time he went down the floor, I think, well, don't trip, don't fall down. And he didn't. So I remember that story. Anyhow.
There's Andy along, there's two great, you wanna point to Andy up here?
Oh, that should be Andy there.
There's our Andy, is he still back there? Yeah. He was the third grade, I think third grade was the last class that there was in our school. And my brother Mark is down there in the very last, right there.
Right here.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was the school in '66.
Last class,
Last,
or all the classes from
all of it. Okay,
That's a nice picture. Yeah, this little story, well, I'll just read it to you. You'll get a. And one day, many years ago, I accidentally overturned my ride-on golf cart, golfing. And Elizabeth, a very attractive and keen golfer who lived in a villa on the golf course, heard the noise and called out, "Are you okay? What's your name?" "It's Greg." "Where's Greg?" "Greg, there he is back there." "Okay, it's Greg." I'll tell your last name, okay? It's Greg. "Greg, forget your troubles. Come to my villa, rest a while, and I'll help you get the cart up later." "That's mighty nice of you," I answered, "but I don't think my wife would like it." "Oh, come on," Elizabeth insisted. She was very pretty, very sexy and persuasive. I was weak. Well, not me, Greg. "Well, okay," Greg finally agreed and added, "but my wife won't like it." After 6 Jim Beams, a lot of very tender care, I thanked Elizabeth. I feel a lot better now, but I know my wife is going to be really upset. "So I best go now." "Oh, don't be silly," Elizabeth said with a smile. "She won't know anything. By the way, where is she?" "I don't know, probably still under the cart." Thank you.
well, I think that concludes, anybody, yes,
I was asked to show the picture of the Jonesville picnic in 1915 at Somerset.
oh, cool.
So Jonesville was a part of Congress, so anyone that wants to look at it. My grandparents are there, my grandma is pregnant with my mother.
Oh, awesome.
But her 2 older sisters were in.
What was your name?
I can scan that.
They wanna know your name,
Pardon?
they wanna know what your name is.
I'm hard of hearing.
What's your name?
Well, my mother was Jean Mitchell, and her sisters were, Dorothy and Peggy, and the parents were George and Dorothy.
All Mitchells?
But my dad was all pushed, he was the one behind the coal mine, not coal mine, the wall, and the statue. And I was wondering, does anyone know how they molded, who was the sculptor that molded the binder? Yeah, it used to be separate, yeah.
Isn't that in?
Yeah, there were the books, but I think he was out of, Portland.
Yeah, this is at South.
What is your name?
Tony Jean, formerly Elvis.
Marie is gonna put it up there for us. Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? Yeah,
I was gonna ask, where, you know, where did the African Americans go to school here in Ronald back in the day?
They're the old school.
Like,
yeah, I think they had their own school.
They had their own church, their own school.
yeah,
I believe it was up above, the number 3 mine,
okay.
that's what I understood. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a good question.
I know it, my mom told me that's what I know, that's why I was going to say.
Testing. I just have one last thing to say for those of you who don't know. We owe a big debt to Cheryl for all of the We've been the president of the club with my mother and the rest of the ladies that formed the club a long time. How many years Cheryl was president?
Almost
40. I think that's really wonderful. And then right by her side through all those years has been Greg. And he comes down and if there's something that needs fixing, windows, whatever, he's down here doing it. So he spends a lot of time here too. So he needs to have a big Greg is
He's my right-hand man now, too.
my brother Andy is our newest member of the board, and he retired about 3 years ago, Andy, I think. And he now is helping Greg out, and I know he's really enjoying it. And he lives in Ronald, just down the street, and he actually lives in the house that Louis was talking about, Cubby Favero's house, so that's where he lives. And then our secretary, Shannon Cernig, who did the video here, and she's been probably for about maybe 5 years, Cheryl, the secretary, excuse me. Yeah. And then I'm the treasurer of the group, and I've been the treasurer since I retired 14 years ago. So.
Thank you, Bill.
You know, as what I read on this screen here today, that's what I truly, truly feel about Ronald. And, you know, it's just a different feeling if you've grown up here in Ronald. And you have the friends, we're lifelong friends. We've been friends, Cheryl, Greg, and I, for 75 years. So, we have pictures of us in our baby cribs, friends, and so, and we traveled together, we just got back from a trip, but it's truly a special, special place. And thank you, everybody, for coming and being interested and supporting us up here. Appreciate it.
Okay, now we'll do the drawing, and then I also want to reiterate that they also have cookbooks for sale. This is another fundraiser they have. So these, we have them on the back table, if you'd like one. And like I said, I think we've got a couple of these, like maybe one or two, but if you want more, make sure you sign up. There's a sheet back there. Okay, it's time for our drawing.